What's up guys, welcome back to a new video. Today I want to talk about what I learned and what was going through my mind when I thought that I only had a few more months to live. Now I gotta take you back around 3 years after I had just successfully undergone chemotherapy for my second cancer. I had also received a successful bone marrow transplant and I was allowed to go home. So this is a few weeks after all of this. I was physically and mentally drained. I was bald. I was weighing around 70 kilos, which for me is very skinny. To give you an idea, right now I'm around 94 kilos. So I was a shell of who I used to be. All that being said, I was feeling positive and I was happy because I was finally able to look forward towards the future and to start looking at rebuilding my life. So one day, as I'm sitting home, I noticed this very obvious lump on the side of my neck. Now this worried me a lot, so I instantly rushed over to the hospital to go meet my doctors and have it checked out. So they took a CT scan, which is not really conclusive. You know, a CT scan basically can take a picture and it can tell you whether or not something is there. Now what that is, a CT scan cannot actually tell you. So all we knew was that there was a very obvious lump there, which also showed up on the scan, and the way it looked and the way it felt and the way it was reacting to everything, my doctors told me that given my history of having cancer twice in 3 years, they told me that I had to start mentally preparing for the very likely possibility of the cancer having returned and me having cancer for a third time. I remember like it was yesterday, they told me I had a 66% chance of having cancer again. Now the next step was for me to go and have a biopsy, which means that they actually cut out a piece of the little lump, they put it under a microscope, they do all kinds of tests with it in a lab, and they're actually able to determine what that lump is. Is it a tumor? Is it a cyst? Is it just an infection? Is it just a big pimple? So the biopsy would give me closure. Now the biopsy would take about 7 days to process, so I had this 1 week span in which I had to wait for the final results. And I remember just walking around and just hearing the doctor's voice in my head over and over again telling me that it was a 66% chance the cancer had returned. Now I'm a numbers guy, like I'm all about stats and numbers, so when I hear 66%, for me it was a done deal, especially given my history and the fact that my doctors had never really been wrong about anything before. So in my mind, I basically felt like I already knew I had cancer for a third time. I no longer knew if I could keep fighting. This was the first time ever that I hit rock bottom. I had been fighting and fighting and fighting and pushing through. I had undergone 5 different cycles of chemo. I was in isolation for months where I couldn't leave my room, I couldn't see anyone. And after finally making it to the finish line, the thought of having to start all of this over again for a third time just made me so depressed. So one night I'm in my car, driving around, not going anywhere, and I told myself out loud, like, this is it. Like, you're gonna die. This is the end of the road. You're gonna keep getting cancer over and over again. Even if you did it for a third time, you're gonna get cancer for a 4th time, a 5th time, until you die. So this was the first time that I was confronted with actual emotions of having to deal with the possibility of a very nearing death. So I started thinking, what do I want to do with the time that I have left? What do I want to achieve before I go? What do I want to say? What do I want to share? And I know so many people, when they're talking about bucket lists and things they would like to achieve before they die, they often put these major goals, these crazy things like, you know, going skydiving, going to Vegas, swimming in the Pacific Ocean, I don't know, like, you know, swimming with dolphins, these type of things. But in my personal experience, what I learned was the things that I wanted to do were things that I could do every day. I wanted to spend time with my family. I wanted to spend time with my godson. I wanted to go to my favorite gym. I wanted to go and eat my favorite Chinese food, have my favorite pizza. And it was then that I realized the things that we value the most, the things that make us the happiest, are things that we can do every single day. But so often, we rather put them off and delay them for later because we prioritize other things that we deem more necessary and more important in the present moment. But when it really comes down to it, happiness is all around us. It's the small things. It's the people that we love, the things that we love to do. And I started thinking about what my perfect day would look like. I started smiling because most days, the things that I appreciate the most, the things that make me the happiest, are accessible to me every single day. But I just choose not to appreciate them. I just wanted to tell the people I love that I love them. I wanted to thank them for everything they had done for me. I wanted to call my ex, who I hadn't spoken to for 2 years, to tell her that even though we ended bad and, things were kind of ugly in the end, I still appreciated the times and the love that I shared with her. I wanted to call the new girl that I had never approached before, that I always had a crush on, to tell her that, I liked her. Tie up all these loose ends, and basically, it never crossed my mind to call somebody and say something negative or to have my final revenge or something on someone. So ask yourself, if you were to wake up today knowing that you only had 24 hours to live, what would you do? I am willing to bet that you would not be interested in going skydiving or swimming with dolphins or none of this crazy stuff. You would want to spend a day with your favorite people, the people that you love, go to your favorite spots, have your favorite food, and basically the point I'm trying to make is everything that we appreciate the most is already right here. Most of us just don't see it. Let me put it like this to give you guys a really easy example. If you're a huge football fan and you only had one more day to live, do you really think you would want to spend this day having lunch with Cristiano Ronaldo instead of with your family and the people you love? Alright guys, that's it for today. Comment below what your perfect day would look like. I would love to know your guys' perspective and input on this, and just to find out what my audience considers to be a perfect day for them. And before I go, I just want to mention, for this particular video, I was inspired by this article that I read on Medium, which is basically like a Instagram for writers, I guess. And I read this article written by this guy named Mike Thompson. So I'll put his little link of his website in the description box. So any of you guys interested to hear more or read more about these types of topics should definitely go check it out. I've been reading a lot of his stuff and I find him to be very inspiring and motivating. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back soon with more videos. Hit the thumbs up as always. Big Boy Benzo checking out.